Hi everyone, Richard here at Kelvin Wazoo, and I'm sick again. No, I'm in good health. I'm not really sick again, but it's 1975. That's where we are with the thread. Albums released in 1975. And what I've been doing is talking about the records that I actually picked up at the time that they were very, very close to when they were released, or, at the time that they were released. While I have quite a few records from 1975, many of them I did not acquire until, a couple years later. Because I was still in high school, living in a rural area, didn't have all that kind of access to record stores. And it wasn't until I started to attend university that, I had more access to, music in general, hearing it from other people, but also having more access to record stores. And so I would begin picking up. But anyway, that's just, whatever. Let's get started. And as I said, I'm sick again because this was released in 1975, Physical Graffiti. And wow, what a record. This was just like, I was a major Led Zeppelin fan anyway. I had every album of theirs, every time one of their new albums came out, I was like right there to get it, at least up until this one. The subsequent releases by Led Zeppelin afterward, I did not immediately buy when they were released. But this one, yeah, and it was just, it's an amazing album. It is a double album, and in many respects, it's almost two distinct albums. The sides one and two, to me, representing something that is, distinct as its own album, and then 3 and 4 representing something else. But of course, my reference is to a song on there, I'm Sick Again. I have this is the Jimmy Page remix, and I have to say that I am not all that impressed with the Jimmy Page remixes. Maybe it's just me, but they seem a little shrill. The Jimmy Page remixes I have are the only records that I have to get up and adjust my amplifier, adjust the treble and bass. Most of the time I make just tiny little changes on occasion, while I'm listening to something. But with these Jimmy Page remixes, I have to really dial back the treble and dial up the bass, at least for my system, because I just don't like the remixes. But it's difficult to find. Well, it has been for me anyway. Difficult to find earlier releases that are, in decent shape for a decent price. Another one that I got at the time. In fact, I was just listening to this a little while ago. I don't know why I still have it in the shrink wrap. Why I left the shrink wrap on it. But this is Toys in the Attic, Aerosmith. What a great, solid, record. I just realized, I think this is their third release, and for some reason, I thought this was their second release, because their eponymous debut and this one, to me, the other records, the other releases are okay, but they are, to me, not as solid as these two that I mentioned. And so not until you get to the 80s I said this earlier, and maybe it was in my live stream I was talking about it, but Pump and Permanent Vacation, with those releases in the 80s, they kind of came back. But anyway, this was one I had, and I mean, just lots of great songs on here. Toys in the Attic, Adam's Apple, Walk This Way, Sweet Emotion, No More, No More, Round and Round. The ballad, You See Me Crying, there's a little too much orchestration. Excuse me. Then another record that came out that I bought at the time is this one here, and that is the Grateful Dead Blues for Allah. Now, this is a MoFi recording. I had, let me think, did I have it on vinyl or did I have an 8-track? Which I had the 8-track with the Aerosmith. I did not have it on vinyl, but I got the 8-track. I think I had this on vinyl. Now this is a MoFi, as I said. So, and it's the, 45 RPM. So yeah, I got to get up and flip it over a lot, whatever. But this is just a really amazing album. I mean, the songs on, on the traditional release are, well, the whole song, or excuse me, the whole record is, very trippy, Grateful Dead. But I would say that the side 2 songs are even more out there than side 1. And they're all just really amazing, beautiful compositions. Really strong album. And definitely one of my favorites that of their catalog. And for studio albums, I mean, they have released so many great live albums, but seriously, these releases, the releases they had, the studio releases in the 70s, were really good, very solid, very solid. Now, this one I also had on 8-track as opposed to vinyl, but that was Foghat, Fool for the City. And, this was, and right now this is the only Foghat I own, primarily because of its nostalgic value. I saw them, let's see, that was at Central Michigan University. Went with a friend of mine and his girlfriend, and Head East was the opening act. But Foghat was great. Head East was just not very memorable to me. And of course they did play, this album was, had been released recently at that time. So they played Fool for the City, and Slow Ride, and then they played a lot of other songs as well. Well, obviously it was a concert. Anyway, great show. I was really naive back then because it was my friend's girlfriend who had to explain to me that Slow Ride was about sex. Okay. Another album that released that I bought because of the concert that I went to, and that was this Blue Oyster Cult's On Your Feet or On Your Knees. I was blown away by that show, by that concert, especially the part where the entire band is out on stage playing a guitar. The bass player is still playing a bass, but everyone else, no matter what other instrument that they were playing, even the drummer came out and was playing a guitar. And I think that was during, was that ME 262? Yeah, I think that was ME 262 was a song where they did that, which was close to the end of the concert. That's the one thing about concert albums, is that they are seldom put together in the order that the songs were played during the show. And I'm sure that has a lot to do with, fitting the songs on vinyl. But anyway, who opened this show? All right, Blue Oyster Cult was the headliner. Bob Seger was the opening act. So this was, well before Bob Seger had, really hit it, which I think kind of happened when he released Night Moves. That was probably because it was just a couple years later that, Bob Seger came out with the record Live Bullet or Silver Bullet. Anyway, which was like a huge, huge, huge success for him, and then he, became a superstar as well. Anyway, Blue Oyster Cult is one band that, and this is the only one I have. I don't have any of their studio albums. I've been completely satisfied with this, but people are urging me. Yeah, I need to get those. I think like the first 3 records that they, studio records that they released. Maybe I will. I don't know. But I love On Your Feet or On Your Knees. Then also, this was released in 1975, Lou Reed Live. And, it's the, Best Buy. And that's kind of how it was, because I think Lou Reed, or maybe the record company, I don't know which, kind of treated this as like a throwaway. I mean, you had Rock and Roll Animal the year before. Great, great, great recording. And the songs in that recording are primarily Velvet Underground songs. And this one, which was from the same show, okay, recorded at the same show as Rock and Roll Animal, is primarily Lou Reed songs, post Velvet Underground. From his, Transformer, and then also from Berlin, for the most part. And I don't know why it was released that way, because they're all from the same show. To have them, and it's a great, great record, but it seems to get dismissed by, or it was dismissed by either Lou Reed himself or the record company or whatever. It just never got a lot of respect. And I think this is a totally, totally outstanding live recording. The rendition of Oh Jim, and then leading into Sad Song, is just awesome to me. The guitar playing, the guitar duel, so to speak, between Dick Wagner and Steve Hunter is just epic. The interplay between the 2 of them during Oh Jim, just amazing. Here I am. This is great. Rock and Roll Animal is great. This is equally great in my opinion. And why they weren't released together or packaged together is something I still don't quite understand. Hey, if you know some more about what was going on, that please leave a comment in the down under. And then the last album that I bought at the time, then, when it was released, is also one of my favorite Neil Young albums, and that's this one, Zuma, with Neil Young and Crazy Horse. Interesting cover, which Neil drew himself, I think, if I remember right from reading his autobiography. And it's, fantastic. You got Frank San Pedro and Billy Talbot and Ralph Molina, the core, Crazy Horse, and then just really, really great songs. Who produced this? David Briggs. This is a David Briggs production. This particular copy I have is a European pressing from Germany, but I had the original and played it all the time. Now, those are the records, that I had at the time. There were many great releases in 1975 that, as I said, I didn't get until later. Blood on the Tracks by Bob Dylan. I really didn't get that until the 1980s. There was a huge gap in my listening with Bob Dylan, that I didn't have anything much from him until, in the 80s, and I started buying his stuff. Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd, which I think is their zenith of their career. And that was released in 1975, but I didn't get that until I started attending university. Born to Run, Bruce Springsteen, didn't get that until like 1978 or 79. Young Americans was released, and I didn't get that until, wow, much, much, much later. Horses by Patti Smith was released in 1975, also something I didn't pick up probably until the 1980s. And Neil Young's Tonight's the Night, I didn't pick that up until like just last year. Okay, that was just not part of my collection for them. So yeah, there were a lot of really good ones. The Basement Tapes, Blow by Blow by Jeff Beck. Let's see here. Of course, yeah, even Frank Zappa's One Size Fits All was released in 1975. I did not buy that until I was attending university, so that would have been a couple years later. And then I'm just quickly going through this list in front of me here. If I remember Venus and Mars by Paul McCartney and Wings. That was, actually, I don't know if that was with Wings. That was probably pretty much just Paul McCartney. But didn't get that. I remember the songs, playing at the time. Minstrel in the Gallery by Jethro Tull was one that and I didn't get. I don't have a copy now, but I did have a copy then of Fly By Night by Rush, and that would have been an 8-track, I'm pretty sure. Not a record, but the 8-track. And I remember seeing War in concert about that time, but I didn't have any of their records. Why Can't We Be Friends was released in 1975. Great record. I have it now, of course. Also got that box set, the War box set, which is just fabulous. That's probably, at least of the big releases, Jefferson Starship released Red Octopus, but Jefferson Starship at that time, and that's kind of my opinion right now, no. The one Starship release that I liked was Blows Against the Empire. But even that one I didn't have when it came out. I didn't get that one until later. So, yeah, those are the releases I had. Hey, leave a comment in the Down Under. Was 1975 a good year in music for you? And, don't forget that I am on Instagram as NewsDude76. That's NEWZDUDE76. And as always, remember to pray for the people inside your head, for they won't be there when you're dead.